Utah State logo better sit, huh?
That won't work.
Okay.
All right. Here is Utah State Athletics Director Scott Barnes to make an opening statement, then take a few questions.
Thank you. I met with Brent Guy Sunday and asked him to step down as our football coach at Utah State University, effective at the end of the season. At that time, his employment will be terminated. Also met with our student athletes, as Brent did, and our assistant coaches. The process will now begin. National search will begin to find Brent's replacement. Questions?
Risking the obvious, why was this done?
Difficult decisions because of the person Brent Guy is. He has led our program with integrity and character. In the end, the lack of any significant or sustainable momentum was a reason. In addition, progress was undoubtedly made, but progress that translates to wins certainly wasn't there. And at the end, we felt that there's really a time in an opportunity in our program to take the next level, and that we need new leadership to do that.
What was the standard that he needed to meet to keep his job?
I'd never put a number on it. You know, these things are both subjective and quantitative in terms of measuring. Simply progress overall, wins having to do with that, other areas as well. And in the end, I think, again, the lack of momentum and the lack of progress translating to wins was certainly part of that process in thinking through this.
If Coach had gotten that win against Fresno State and he was able to hold on against Louisiana Tech, would that have changed things?
Certainly, when you think about establishing momentum and wins at Fresno State and on the road at La Tech and finishing up strong, certainly that would have play a part in our decision in the end.
When did you come to the decision?
After the Louisiana Tech game.
Can you talk a little bit about the process of how you're going to go about the search now?
I think it's important that we're as nimble and swift as possible, but we'll be very thorough way in the process. And timing is such that depending on the candidates will depend on the timing relative to naming a coach. Some will be involved in coaching, some won't. We still have a couple of weeks left in the season, but we felt it was important to make this decision now. Recruiting is upon us. We opted to not send our coaches out this week. It gives us time to put our plan together and to start the process earlier, as opposed to waiting through the bye and then the last game.
Will he coach to the end of the season?
He will. I had asked Brent to do that, and he has agreed to do that. So he will be our coach until we get to the New Mexico State game.
Is the program in better shape now than it was when Brent took over, would you say?
It is in better shape, and I think that begs a question, and the question is, what's different? Not only do I feel like our foundation in our program is at a different level than it was when Brent took over, but the resources available to the new coach will be, I believe, significantly better, from facilities to scheduling philosophy to resources for program support. We have put what I call a football competitive excellence plan in place, and that plan speaks to those three areas. And we have begun to execute that plan over the last several months, and we'll continue to focus on that, particularly in the area of football operations.
The foundation's at a different level than it was before he took over, and you talked about the schedule and the resources and the facilities. What about his work in bringing it from where it was to where it is?
Yeah, and I think that when I say the foundation is a different level. That was his doing. Brent took on a significant challenge in bringing the program up, and although progress wasn't made at the level we had hoped, progress was made. And so I think the number of student athletes on scholarship and in some cases the talent level is better than it was.
You've said that you wanted, this is one of the first things you said, we've got to get the scheduling in shape, and we've got to improve assistant coaches' salaries. Can we assume that the new group will have, well, the scheduling's already been worked at. What about the salaries for assistant coaches?
We've launched a competitive excellence fund campaign and have made significant strides in securing additional resources at this point in time, and we'll be very focused on that endeavor moving forward. So absolutely, those dollars will go first and foremost to provide a pool that is closer to where we need to be than we have been.
Are any assistants being looked at in the new head coaching position, or is this strictly going to be new blood?
That'll be entirely up to the head coach. The head coach will have the freedom to make those decisions, and we'll wait and see.
But I mean, are any of the current assistants being considered?
For a head coaching position? No, they are not.
I know you're probably not going to name names, but in the process of this, have you mentally put together the type of coach or even a short list of guys from your previous context that you feel would be a good fit for Utah State?
Yes.
Have you made contact with them? Yes.
No contact was made until the decision was made and announced. So that process has just begun, has only just begun.
So that would include, Scott, those, those rumors that you couldn't miss hearing them, about the time the facility was dedicated and John L. was here, that he had been contacted, a deal was being hammered out. You just said no contact like that is being made?
Absolutely not.
Are you looking for another defensive type coach? Are you looking for an offensive? I mean, what do you want?
Great question. I think with any coaching position, it starts with character, integrity, somebody with passion, tireless commitment. Certainly we start at the baseline there. From there, particularly with our program, this is not a rebuild. This is an add-on, if you will. And we need to take it, it's come a ways, we need to take it to the next level. But I think that when you think about the attributes of a coach for this position, those that have been in rebuild situations are important, because that fire, that grind them out mentality to get things done is critical to what we do. And I think intelligence in that effort is really important to us. Candidates will come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, and I'm not putting drawing a line in the sand to say I'm looking only at head coaches, or I'm looking only at assistants from BCS schools. I'm looking for the right individual to lead this program, and those attributes are critical in taking those next steps. Fit is key, and fit comes in a lot of ways. It has to do, again, with what our needs are right now. As I mentioned, it has to do with somebody that likes living in a community such as this, a wonderful community. We have great things to sell about Utah State, and I harken back to the comments earlier